This is my buddy's Subaru Impreza. We're doing the rear diff and this clutch cable here. So figured I'd give him some help since all my stuff's broken and I don't feel like working on it. Alright, so we're taking the Bronco, go pick up some tools and some beverages. Pretty mint, little bullnose, 300 inline. Alright, so I've got a screw in my tire, I got my patch kit. I'm going to empty all the air out of it, and it's all just part of living out in the back country. People throwing screws and stuff out of their trucks. So I'm going to work on getting this patched up so I can get my van back. Alright, so I went ahead and pulled this guy out. Leaking right out of there. So I'll let that blow all the dirt and debris out so that way my plug goes in really nice. And then I'll work on putting this patch kit in. So here's my rubber plug and my rubber cement, and then you got a reamer. So you just gotta find the hole, ream it out and clean it nice and good so there's no burrs or anything on it. And you get your applicator tool. I've got the nice one in here that's metal. You get it right in the middle there. And open up your rubber cement. And you coat it. I normally go pretty heavy on this stuff. That's why I bought the big bottle. Because the more you use, the more likely it'll seal, in my opinion. Might not be the correct way to do it, but it's never let me down. And then you just find the hole again. And you want to leave some sticking out and some all the way in, so you know that you did it in the right spot. And then this one's got a puller. You push that all the way down and twist while you're pulling out, and then now your rubber plug will stay in. And then I normally let that dry before cutting it with my my razor knife. Alright, it's now fully filled back up. You don't see any bubbles coming out, then that means it's sealed. Alright, so all this dirt was stuck in both my fenders. So I went ahead and washed all that out. I'm going to go pick up some clear coat now from the store and start sanding these down and get them all prepped for some white paint. Alright, we're on our way to go pick up the spray paint. It'll be epoxy clear coat, so it'll have a little thing on the bottom. I gotta find that. Pretty much gonna be looking at all the clear coats in here. I want to make sure that it's a nice strong seal, so that way the sun doesn't eat away at it. With pearl in it. These are normally what I use, but last time I put the gloss on something, it faded within 2 years. I'm gonna keep looking and I'll show you what I buy after. Alright, so I couldn't find any of the epoxy clears, so I'm gonna go with 2 cans of this. Alright, well today's an RC and Cletus kind of day, so I'm going to be rehanging these, so that way this one will probably be lower, and then I'll have 2 slots instead of just the one for this one and then the ones for the 2 little cars. It'll be 3 for the big cars, and then all my little cars will be right here. So say hello to Willow. Alright, so here's kind of my thought process. I got that one where the Lexus was. This one will go right underneath it. Something like this one. This one. Be something like this here. So they're all out of the way, out of kids' reach, and just look a lot neater. Get some floor space. Alright, well here's the setup. My LT80's on the top, my new 4Runner is on the middle, and then I've got my Lexus on the bottom. I think that looks way cleaner. So now I've just got to build some shelving units for the little ones over in the corner. Okay, so this was my old truck, which it's so freaking dark in here. But this body is supposed to be 1/10, that's what it says online, but it's more like a 1/12 scale. It's really small. This chassis has been shortened, and it's got really small tires on it. I think these are pretty much the smallest you can get for a 1/10 crawler. And yeah, it's got some really nice parts and stuff on here, but it just doesn't do what I want it to anymore. So I pulled the ESC motor combo out of this to throw in this new one, because I'm not the biggest fan of FlySky. So this is a FlySky receiver in this box, and then no name ESC with a Holmes Hobbies motor. But I'm just going to remove it all and throw my Apocalypse motor in there, and then my ESC there, and my receiver here, just to kind of make it all easier, better remote, because it's a I can't remember which one it is. Oh, Radio Link. So alright, now I'm watching Build Season, and I just got this Type T Apocalypse motor in there. I got the old one out. I am now going to use my motor and gear lube to lube up the gears in the transfer case before I put the cover on, along with the bearing at the back here. And then I'm going to work on getting all this stuff put inside this box, hopefully up here somewhere. Also, little lady, she's annoyed I'm not petting her. I got the RC put all back together. I'll have to show you later what it looks like, but it actually steers correctly and the throttle works properly now.
Remember Charlie attacked him?
Yeah, this is Vanaheim, Sam's dog. We're washing his car. Gotta find him a wash mitt. But then we're gonna go get some rollers of a black Honda Civic after this too. Alright, Mulberry's almost washed. Looking pretty nice. Looking pretty nice. Really just needs a wax after. Alright, taking the Mulberry out again. I'm gonna go get some rollers of the Civic. Okay, I have an oil change and some speakers to do on this truck today. I'm going to take my dad's truck to my buddy's place down the road to grab some tools to finish up a dump truck job I have. Alright, so I had to buy this tool to get my spark plug out of my quad, but I think what I'm going to end up doing, since this is way too long, I'm going to cut this in half and I'll weld a skinny junk socket on the inside of it. Just that way it makes it easier getting it out. But you can see just how rich my quad is running, so it definitely needs this to be cleaned, and then I'll throw it back in and probably mess with the carb a little bit. But I gotta go work on finishing up that dump truck first, so I'm gonna let this soak in something, and then when I come back I'll be able to clean it up with a brush of some sort, get that electrode nice and clean again. Alright, so this is the transmission I put in, Allison 3000. All the wires are tucked up out of the way, everything's connected. The only thing really left to do, besides adding this fluid, is put the step back on, and then I gotta put this whole 5-gallon bucket in there, and I'm still gonna need another 2 gallons after that, because this thing holds about 29 quarts, which if you round up to, you know, 32, then it's a lot of oil. So I'm gonna start banging away on this, hopefully finish it up by tomorrow. Alright, the batteries on that dump truck were dead, but I cleaned the spark plug on this thing and gave it some starting fluid and fired right up, so I'm gonna let it warm up and take it out for a ride. So I put on one of these spacers just to test it. I do have the slightest little bit of room back here. Put my fingers in between it. Okay, well, a van with no springs is definitely really tight. Crazily enough, it's not even touching the wheel, it's only touching the tire. It's actually pushing in right there. I'll jack it back up, but looks way better on 22, especially tucking, than the 14s. Super sick. Alright, so it's still rubbing there and just barely in there, and then it's definitely rubbing when it reaches the top, but there's 2 inches of tuck. These are 22s. I think I said 24s before. These are 22s. So I think I'm going to post these for trade. Try and get some 20s. Alright, well, we're going to take a break from that and drive the trusty old tractor down to the neighbors and go grab a pit bike, so that way they can work on it down here while I'm doing that. And this is going to be a pretty meaty cold start because I didn't put the glow plugs on. buddy's bike, other buddy's bike, other buddy's bike, other bike. This is what we're picking up right here.
What's up, Goober?
Not much. What's up with you?
Man's YouTubing the bike.
I am YouTubing the bike. Oh shit.
Crazy.
We probably need that. This is Ryan. What are you doing there? Okay, we're gonna get this loaded up in the tractor. Take it to my place. Hanging out at my homie's place.
What up?
Getting some clips. Making some tacos. Got the boys' cars outside. Alright, this is the beef and some beans. Got some homemade tillas over here. Oh, yeah. Alright, now I'm taking my wheel and tire to my buddy down the road. He's got a tire machine, so I'm gonna go get that. Bring you guys off a little bit. I got scratches on the front of this lens, so this one's not as good. But yeah, so pop the bead off the tire, figure out why it's leaking on the whole back side. The front side's fine, it's just the back. And replace it with, you know, like either clean it or put some new bead sealant in there. Running stretch tires, you kind of have this, and those wheels are very, very used. I've debeaded on them multiple times, so I could just have a pretty gnarly bead and it's not letting it seat. So figure that out when we get there. But it's a really bad leak. It leaks about 10 psi every hour or so, so I have to fill it up constantly, and I'm tired of it. So go take that there, get that fixed, and then the Lexus is drivable. Alright, little setup for the vlog. This is me watching The Burnt Peanut. I've got my phone set up over here as well. And then playing some CSGO tonight. Cooking some chicken. Little crock pot chicken.